Thank you for tuning in to Patriot True Talk today. My name is Brian Warzoka. I'm going to be interviewing State Representative Jim DeSanta of the 29th District. We're going to be talking about a variety of things. He's only been in Lansing now for 3.5 months. But there is a lot that has gone on in the House in Lansing. So we're going to kind of go through it and see what Jim has been voting on, and I know the main concern right now is going to be gun control because they are pushing gun control bills through the House very quickly, and some would say that it's too quick, and they're breaking procedure on getting these laws passed and getting them on the governor's desk. So, thank you, Jim, for
Thank
showing
you.
up
Thanks
today.
for having me. Yep.
Um, One thing I want to talk about is the battery plant. A lot of people seem to be concerned about the battery plant that Gretchen Whitmer went ahead and gave $715 million to a company to do this.
All total, it's 1.8 billion. Yeah, it's like $700,000 per job. The Marshall battery plant with cattle,
Okay.
and with the Chinese, and 300 CCP members come along with that money.
Mhm.
And you're probably seen in the news where Ford expects to lose billions of dollars on their EV program. Well, there's 1.8 billion they don't have to worry about because the Michigan taxpayer just gave them a huge amount.
Well, I thought that this was going to be a joint effort between Ford and this battery plant. We're going to be working together.
Correct. Ford Motor Company is involved with it, and we don't know how much of Ford is owned by China. It's not. That's really not
That's true.
disclosed. So
Right.
Ford has jumped into bed with China big time, and we're giving them way too. I mean, I'm not for any corporate welfare, Brian. Period. I'm not for giving them $1. If you want me to build a road, a state road, or a county road, or help build that road to the plant, by all means. If you want me to have a freeway exit so that if there's not a freeway exit close enough, those are the kinds of things we can do. But as far as gifting them money, no, absolutely not.
Well, you had mentioned that there's going to be 300. I'm assuming from the China
They're Chinese nationals.
nationals coming over here to Michigan. Now, why are they bringing the 300 nationals here to Michigan?
Because the technology belongs to China and they're licensing it to Ford, so they have to set up all of the procedures and the equipment and such for the lithium batteries to be produced at this plant.
Okay, now what? Now, this is supposedly, from what I have read so far, it's going to create 2,500 jobs. From what I've read so far, I think that number is going to wind up being less when this takes place. But what guarantees did they put in there? Because they're already moving 300 of them over here, on right when it opens up. So what would stop them from bringing over more workers and letting our workers go?
Absolutely nothing. There's no guarantee. The jobs are not guaranteed. This is a very poor agreement. We're basically giving the SOAR Fund, the Michigan Strategic Fund, MEDC, all organizations out there to give our Michigan taxpayer dollars away to corporations. It's not good.
With these four nationals, the 300 of them, I mean, I read 250 to
250 to 300.
Yeah. So, what kind of oversight are we going to have on these four
Zero,
nationals?
basically zero. These are Chinese spies coming to Michigan, and they're going to be close to one of our largest military installations in Michigan, Fort Custer.
Well, you got Camp Grayling is really not that far from Big Rapids there. I don't even think Selfridge Air Force Base is even that far because that's by Port Huron, correct?
Basically, we're just giving money away and bringing in members of the CCP to come in and spy and have all kinds of information on Michigan. So it makes absolutely no sense. And then there's another battery plant up in Big Rapids called Goshen.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, Brian, neither of these towns want these plants. Big Rapids does not want Goshen, and Marshall does not want cattle, or
Okay.
Ford/cattle. Neither
Right.
of these communities
Now,
want these plants.
I don't mean to interrupt you,
You're
but
good.
the one in Big Rapids, is that already up and running?
No, there's still processes they're going through, but
And
they're further along on that.
is now who's opening that? Who owns that one?
Goshen, it's an acronym for another Chinese company that's doing batteries.
Okay, now do they have ties to the CCP like the
Same
one in
type of
Marshall?
thing. Yeah,
Same.
same
Okay.
same type of operation.
Okay. Now, here's another question too that some people have kind of asked this question. Not too many though, but do you think Whitmer making these deals with the Chinese companies that have ties to the CCP? Do you think that she's doing this so she can make her run for president coming up in 2024?
Well, I think there's probably not much doubt as to her motives. She's a lame duck. She's got 3 years left as governor, 3.5 years left as governor.
Okay.
There are all the ideas out there that she's going to run for president or be on a ticket for president, or that she will go to Washington after this. Um, I mean, payback to the Chinese is obviously in play here, and why we are doing these deals with China, I have no idea. China is our main adversary, and we are bringing them in, giving them money. It's pretty obvious to me that
Right.
Joe Biden, Gretchen Whitmer, the Democratic National Committee, they are in bed with China.
I
And
would say they're all working together, kind of. Even if it's behind the scenes, they're communicating and
mm,
they're working together as well. Now, when a foreign national comes over to the United States, they do have a diplomatic immunity, so they really don't have to follow our laws when they get here. So, is there anything in place to make sure that they're not going to be causing trouble within the United States and maybe wanting to get close to Camp Grayling where we train soldiers at
they'll have a work
stuff
visa.
like that.
They'll have a work visa, obviously. But what controls do we have in place, or what assurances do we have from our government that there's going to be any monitoring of these individuals when they're here? There's none. They're
None.
monitoring American citizens. Who are we kidding? I mean, they're monitoring American citizens more so than foreign nationals.
Right.
There's no doubt in my mind. So many of our organizations have been corrupted, and when you look at the fact that we're doing all these deals with China and bringing these Chinese nationals in, it's pretty clear to me what our government thinks of the average U.S. citizen and what they think
Right.
of Chinese communist members of the Chinese Communist Party.
Right. Yeah. Well, we definitely don't need any people wanting to bring communism here to the United States. We already have enough of them people.
I don't want
So,
any members of the Chinese
right.
Communist Party coming to America, to be honest with you.
I don't.
Even if they're coming here to study at our universities, my my preference would be that we do not have our universities open for the Chinese communists to come here and learn.
Well, that's another thing too. They're actually going to be housing these 250 to 300 foreign nationals at a university,
Yeah,
but they're not going to be attending to the university. They're just going there to have a place to stay while they get the battery
we're
played
rolling
up,
out the red
right?
carpet for them.
Okay. Well, um, now let me ask you this. I don't know if you remember this or not. A lot of people don't. Um, Back in, I want to say 2010, President Obama at the time, he was working on a deal with uh, the CCP in China, and they were trying to make some sort of deal. China pulled out because the reason for pulling out of that deal was the American citizens have too many guns.
Uh,
Do you remember that?
yes, I do.
Okay. Now, see now we got members, these foreign nationals coming to Michigan now, and all of a sudden we're getting what, at least 13 to 15 bills coming up with gun control.
It's approaching 20. It's
Oh,
crazy.
see, last I heard it was 13.
Yeah, I have a sheet. I
So,
have a sheet in my office that goes all through the bills. Now, some of the bills are tax related and finance related, but
okay.
it's well over 18 bills on gun control.
Do you think Governor Whitmer is picking up maybe where Obama left off on this deal to try and get this deal back? Because I mean, if she's going to run for president, it kind of makes sense to while she's governor to put the framework, if you will, together for this deal. So when she becomes president, she can go on with this deal that Obama tried to make in 2010.
Well, I mean, let's just look at the big picture here. Dems want to restrict in any way, shape, or form the Americans' ability to freely have arms on their property and on their person. And they'll push all these narratives. And let's just talk about the ones that are recently in the news. Michigan State, if they would have enforced our current laws, that individual would not have gotten a gun. He would have been a convicted felon. So why don't, my question is, this is just a preemptive to get to cause more restrictions on law-abiding citizens. We know Chicago, let's use Chicago as an example, one of the most highly restricted cities as far as gun control, one of the most violent cities, gun crime, and we're not enforcing the laws we have. We can't even come close to enforcing the laws we have.
The district attorney
The county prosecutor.
There was a DA, I want to say in 2018 it was, that had made a decision to try and get as many people that are charged with a felony, plead them down to misdemeanors. She offered that to all the prosecutors in her office. And then in 2019, when he got caught with that gun, he followed what she had wrote and tried to plead him down.
And he did.
And he did. And then 2 years later,
his probation ended.
That took place.
He wasn't convicted of a felony, which would have prevented him from having the gun.
Right.
Boom. End of story right there. This doesn't happen if we enforce our laws. Plain and simple. No plainer case. If we enforce our laws, this doesn't happen. He doesn't have a gun. And if my question is, we're going to pass more laws, right? We're not enforcing the laws we have now. So are we? Do we really?
So the new laws are going to be useless, especially if they can't, if they're not going to enforce them.
Let's bring somebody in and have them plead down to a misdemeanor, or let's give them a slap on the wrist. It's so frustrating when you think about our founding fathers and how the importance they felt to self-defense. This is all truly about self-defense. Our ability to defend our property, defend our lives, and law-abiding citizens don't go out and commit crimes. They just don't.
Right.
It's clear, if you look at the stats, these are criminals. If you really want to stop gun violence and you really want to get guns out of the hands of criminals, start enforcing our laws.
Yep.
Let's be more restrictive. Let's put people in jail for the full penalty they have coming, and let's not plead down gun crime. Let's not plead down to misdemeanors. Let's not shorten those sentences. And we're facing this in Michigan, and we are standing. We are the lone defense, and we are outnumbered. We're being outvoted by 56 highly socialistic, highly Marxist Democrats that want your guns. That just plain and simple. Let's just call it what it is.
Well, the Democratic Party has been trying to get these laws, the red flag laws and the storage laws. They've been trying to pass these for, I do believe, right around 15, maybe 20 years. Okay, so now they're finally getting their way, which a lot of these laws are, for one, unconstitutional.
Absolutely.
Especially the red flag law. Okay.
I believe safe storage is also unconstitutional, to be honest with you.
It is, because they're not going to, without throwing out your Fourth Amendment right to search and seizure, there's no way for them to even check. I'd like to thank State Representative Jim DeSanta for coming and talking with us today. He's very active in his district, so we're thankful for that. And he's always happy to come on the show and let us know what's going on in Lansing. There was a lot that me and Jim DeSanta we had discussed. This is going to have to be in a couple of different episodes. So be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. That way you don't miss any of these episodes. Again, I want to thank him for coming and taking the time out to talk with us today. Thank you.